All right, we start with the top demanding answers from deportation amid rights violations. The truth as well warnings about the dangers they administration or decisions whether representing sending individuals back obligations. The Trump administration citing immigration enforcement. However, critics are deporting unstable and show to provide detailed explanation. Process called to deportations until safety guarantees are established. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has condemned the treatment of deportees, calling it a human rights violation, vowing to ask the UN for protection. Let us listen in to what Venezuela President Nicolas to say.
Para el secretario general de Naciones Unidas de Derechos, todos los presidentes de América Latina y el Caribe y para distintos organismos, para la Organización Internacional Migratoria, para que los mecanismos de derechos humanos se activen en la protección de los venezolanos.
All right, so Mr. Raymond Vickery, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce, joins us on the show. What do you make of these allegations by human rights activists as well as of these deportees who are saying that the way in which they are being sent back, or the fact that they're being sent back, is completely in violation of human rights?
For having me. I think that from a U.S. perspective, the most serious part of this is the Trump administration for the rule of law. As you've pointed out, there was a court order preventing this deportation until the administration could show how it was in accordance with U.S. law, which it wasn't. If the continues down the line, this is not the end of a lawless approach to ruling. Democracy will be very, very much weakened in the United States, and it's a very, very serious kind of situation. Of course, from a human rights point of view, it is the rule of law which protects human rights. If you do not have that, then strongmen, whether they be Maduro or President Trump or whoever, are able to act with impunity. We've already had the ruling from the United States Supreme Court concerning impunity for actions taken by the president, putting him above the law in some situations. This is a very serious but continuous step in the Trump administration's approach. It's also of one piece with the view of President Trump, evidently, that you can have simply great powers to be able to rule in their area. It's a really throwback in the United States to the 19th century in expansion of the territorial impact of the United States. This is not the way in which the world has worked for the last 80 years, and it's up to great democracies like India, those in Europe, Japan, and so forth, to act internationally to rein in this so that we will have some semblance of a rule of law and protection of human rights.
Right, and so this has been a concern everywhere in the world as well. You know, the manner in which some of these deportees have been sent back. In fact, even in India, some of these deportees have come bound in chains and whatnot. Do you really think that this is perhaps the easiest way to spoil a relationship with a country?
Well, I think it's definitely a way to spoil it. If people see on their televisions like this broadcast, their fellow citizens, if you will, in chains, and being treated in a way which is contrary to human rights, it has a terrific impact. But I would point out that, in my view, the Trump administration does this on purpose for domestic purposes, because he wants to show that he's tough, he's strong, and that people who oppose him wind up in chains, and that he can attack problems which we have in terms of crime and so forth, not by a rule of law, not by observation of the basics of human rights, but by throwing people in chains and treating them with less than the respect that they're due as human beings. So yeah, it's counterproductive internationally, but from a Trump perspective, the important thing, as it is with all would-be authoritarians, to show strength, to show that you better not cross the supposed great man, which President Trump considers himself.
And so, do you think that this application of a super jingoistic policy is going to help America in the long run? Because immigration is what has built America to what it is today.
Well, it absolutely will not help the U.S. in the long run. What we need in immigration is what we need across the board, and that is a rule of law which allows the needs to be met both in human terms and economic terms. We don't have a problem in this country with unemployment. What we have is a problem with people to be able to do the jobs we have, particularly those who have skills and willingness to work where we don't have workers who are native born in the United States. We have built this country because we've had an immigration policy which has allowed labor to come in from all over the world. So what would be needed and has been proposed and actually was agreed upon by Republicans and Democrats alike in the U.S. Senate, and then torpedoed by President Trump for political purposes so he could keep this issue alive. We need that kind of reform so that we have guest workers, we have people who can move back and forth in accordance with law. Nobody is asking the United States to take everybody who wants to come to the U.S., but this approach that only the native born or those which are favored having a gold passport, putting up $5 million, or having some special relationship, be able to work and to contribute to the growth of this great nation. So that's the way it ought to work, but that doesn't seem to be the Trump policy at this time.
All right. Sir, appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for your time and your perspective. Moving on.